Hello everyone, my name is Mary and welcome to another installment of Getting to Know the Tarot and you. So in this series I look at a tarot card, discuss its meaning, look at all the symbols on the card, then look at other examples of the card, and finally and most importantly discuss how that card is relevant to your real life. And today's card is the Lovers. So let's jump right into it. Here I have the Lovers card from the Smith-Waite Centennial deck. This is pretty much the standard. It's one of the most famous and most influential decks, the Smith-Waite deck. I have here, if you're wondering, little pieces of Post-it note covering up the people, because they are not wearing anything, and since we're zoomed in, we don't want to offend anybody, nor do we want the YouTube algorithm to get annoyed. So first off, what does the Lovers card mean? So the Lovers card is number 6 in the major arcana. And the meaning of the Lovers card has several meanings, in fact. It can symbolize balance and harmony. It can symbolize a balancing of opposing or complementary energies. It can symbolize yin-yang balance, like the delicate balance of these two different sides of the same energy. It also can symbolize choices. It also can symbolize union or divine partnership. So we have the idea of complementary energies. We have the idea of choice and how you're going to use these two energies. How will they come together? And we have the idea of completion, of unity. So let's look at the symbolism. I think the first symbol is pretty obvious. We've got this right at the top, this beautiful angel. It's, I think, thought to be the Archangel Raphael, which has a lot to do with with healing, with the physical body, with getting you where, with safety, getting you where you need to go. So it's about wholeness and unity. This angel is going to guide you really in the direction of wholeness and unity. And so the angel also represents following divine guidance. So we have here a divine overseer to the two characters on the card. And so they have the ability to choose to be led by the angel's guidance or not to be. So this is, and part of the whole idea of this card harkens back to the Garden of Eden story of these two people who are partnered together, and how are they going to choose to live in their world? Are they going to choose to give in to temptation, or are they choosing to follow, choosing the higher guidance? So this is this moment right before where you get to make that choice yourself. And the angel represents wholeness, blessings, and divine guidance. So we have here two trees, and the trees the tree on the left represents the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and the tree on the right represents the tree of life. And these two trees, you don't have to know what they mean, but I think the most important thing is that they symbolize choice and balance. They symbolize the presence of some choice that you could make. You could choose the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You can choose to knock someone else down in order to build yourself up, or you can choose the tree of life, the tree of abundance, the tree of love, and all of that. So you don't have to be a scholar in any sort of thing, religious or spiritual or otherwise, to understand what these choices mean, that it is a choice being offered to you. And I think another thing that these represent, these two trees, is that they're always there. They're always there. There will always be another exit on the expressway. You know, there will always be an out. You can always choose to take the low road. You can always choose greed or whatever, your lower instincts. That will always be a choice, as long for the foreseeable future. These darker energies, the choice that the snake represents is always going to be there. And so now that we're talking about the snake, let's talk about the snake. The snake represents the serpent who tempted Eve, but also this snake represents passions and possible temptation. And it also can represent like unseen, unforeseen, like difficulties, the challenges, obstacles that you may not foresee in your future. So there's always this choice, this possibility of downfall in some way. But what keeps these two people in safety is always choosing love, is the angel, the guidance and the blessings that they get from the angel by staying in that place of divine guidance. There's another symbol on the card that I do want to point out, and that is the volcano. So right in the middle of them is the volcano, and the volcano represents passion and power. It represents also the cosmic connection between heaven and earth. So there is explosive creative power that is possible when these two people come together, or these two energies. So what we're talking about when we talk about this card is we're talking about feminine and masculine balance. And when I say feminine and masculine, go back and look at the Emperor and the Empress, and you will see that what I mean by feminine and masculine energies. And it doesn't have anything to do with the gender of your body, because everybody has feminine and masculine energy inside them. It just so happens that feminine energy does happen to be more associated with female reproductive organs, and the masculine energy has more to do with masculine reproductive organs. But everybody has yin yang, masculine, feminine. You need them both. You can't create without them. And when they come together, when these complementary energies come together in a balanced and harmonious way, that's when the creative power is possible, that you can create, where things can happen. But the best things happen when these energies are in balance and when they are harmonious with one another. When one of them is hurting the other, when your feminine side is suppressing your masculine, or vice versa, you get somebody who's kind of out of balance. And it's just the same way with a healthy marriage. You can see it inside a person who's well balanced in themselves, and you can also see it externally expressed in a healthy marriage. No matter who the two people are, you have people who balance each other out, people who are complementary to each other and build each other up. So another meaning of the card that is really plain from everything you can see is the idea of choice. The idea of who are you going to serve. Because this card and its layout, you have this higher being here and the two people who are, vulnerable and naked, looking up, or sort of under the guidance of this third higher dimensional being. And the Devil card in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck looks very similar. It's got a being in the middle, sort of in control, and the two people naked and vulnerable to that third party, that higher power. And so the idea of choice is reflected in that card. So the idea is that these two people, the feminine and the masculine aspects of yourself, have a choice to make. How are you going to use your creative power? What are you going to create using your passion and using your drive and your will and your motivation? What are you going to create? How are you going to serve? What is your world going to look like? What are you going to put into the world? How are you going to show up? Because the Lover's card is a major arcana card, I tend to lean a little bit myself personally more towards interpreting this as far as internal soul journey is concerned, as far as your own personal soul's journey. So I would interpret it regarding your internal masculine and feminine, your internal structure of balance and harmony, your choices that you get to make inside your own life. However, it's very important to also think about the other meaning of the card, which is pretty obvious from the name. Lovers. So when you have two people that come together selflessly and are willing to accept the other person's faults and foibles, and willing to work with that person, and willing to forgive, and willing to support that other person, and if the two people are willing to do that equally and love each other unconditionally, it's amazing how healthy, how much they can do, how much they can accomplish, and how much they can overcome. It's just amazing, the power of partnership and union. These people are in a paradise because of the choices they're making, and they're in the paradise together. There is a unity, there is partnership. And so this can also mean divine partnership. And how are you going to show up in your primary relationship, or maybe all of your relationships? It could have to do with you as a partner and you as a person in relationship to others. But primarily, I see this as a internal yin-yang thing, but also romantic partnership, which is a teaching tool in and of itself. And I think that really there is almost no better tool to really show you your weaknesses than a relationship, because it really does. You have a human being showing you, mirroring, or pointing out in non-obvious ways, just by your being partners together, showing you your weaknesses and showing you how you're being. And so that's, I think, an important meaning of the card. Also, the idea of choosing love. The Lovers is choosing love. How to love other people, how to love yourself, how to stay in balance and harmony with the world, with yourself, and with your partner. So, I chose 6 cards to look at that each would give us a new aspect of this Lover's card that shows off something different. And so let's take a look at that. Okay, so these are the 6 Lover's cards that I have chosen to illustrate, that each illustrate some aspect of the Lovers that is worthy and wonderful to look at. So let's take a look at them. The first one on the upper left is this from the Superlunaris Tarot. And what I love about this is that it's very simplistic. It's very straight to the point. There's no extraneous images. There's nothing extraneous in this card whatsoever. We have 2 complementary energies symbolized by the light side of the card and the dark side of the card, and also symbolized by the 2 hands. One that is sort of like the giving hand, and one is the receiving hand. So one is facing down, one is facing up. We also have the snake, which represents temptation and that lower vibrational choice that's always available to you if you want to make that choice. But to stay in balance and to stay in love, you have to continually be choosing balance and choosing love. And that is symbolized by that flower that's on top of the snake. So there's this purity of intention that is sort of on top of this temptation. It symbolizes the fact that they are not choosing the snake, they are choosing love and balance and purity. And I love this card so much because of how simply it shows like pretty much all the meanings that we're looking at when we look at the Lover's card, including even just lovers, human partnership, because we have 2 people whose hands are there ready to clasp hands, ready to give and receive from one another. And I think that's just beautiful. So the next one over to the right is the Lover's card from a deck I've never heard of, and I don't even know where this comes from. It's called the Welcome to Night Vale Holloway Tarot deck. And as soon as I saw this Lover's card, I just fell in love with it because it has these, it's very different from most other Lover's cards. It's not showing human lovers. It's showing two trees. And if you can zoom in, you will see these two trees sort of like wound around one another, embracing one another. And it's just so sweet and beautiful to see, because the trees separately, if they were to grow separately, they would have thinner trunks, but together they're stronger than they could be apart, which is exactly a beautiful message of the Lovers card. The Lovers card is all about how love and people coming together and energies coming together, and it's just how unity makes you stronger. Divisiveness makes you weaker. This is the message of the Lovers, and this is really beautifully illustrated here with these two trees coming together, making each other stronger, becoming stronger as a united pair. So they have chosen harmony over disharmony and unity over divisiveness. The next one is from a deck that I think has a lot of artistic integrity to it. It's a very minimalist deck. It's called the Mystic Mondays deck. But each card has, it reminds me a little bit of the Rider-Waite-Smith, because what Pamela Coleman Smith does in the Rider-Waite-Smith is she does not waste any of her pen strokes. Everything she does is on purpose. And in minimalist decks, that is very much the case, where you have to make use of every element in the card because there are not many elements in the card. So here's the Lovers card from the Mystic Mondays. And every element here is just really important, I think. First of all, we have the lovers that she chose to illustrate are flamingos, who, if you've seen them, they can balance on one foot, and it's quite lovely. It's quite cute to see. And so there's this idea, this obvious idea of balance, that they can balance, that they are in balance within themselves. They are balanced, which is one meaning of the card, but also together they are balancing together. Which is another meaning of the cards. So just the idea of flamingos alone and putting them together is telling a great deal of meaning all just by itself. And they're on a path together, these two flamingos, and the path diverges, going in two separate directions. But in front of them is a palm tree, which represents protection and strength. So there is a benefit in the distance if they were to carve a new path together. So the idea of lovers choosing unity, choosing to support one another, choosing to carve a new path together and towards a new goal, and the two mountains in the distance can represent two separate goals, can represent duality, and the palm tree represents the goal of harmony and unity that these two flamingos are going to choose to do together. If they want to stay together, they're going to end up having to carve their own path. And of course, the final symbol, obviously created by the flamingos themselves, is the heart between them. So cute. So on the bottom row, on the left of the bottom row, we have the Oak, Ash, and Thorn Lovers card. And this is such a cute deck, really cute, adorable deck. And in this deck, just like many decks, not all of them do this, but many do, we have the Lovers card is a mirror to the Devil card. So the Devil card in this deck has a similarity, it looks similar in structure to this one. Only instead of, being compassionate towards one another, the two foxes are not. But in this Lovers card, the two foxes are choosing love. And it's so sweet because it's very simply and straightforwardly illustrated, where they're just, they're nuzzling each other. They're choosing love. The plant that is surrounding them is some sort of fruit vine. And there's, I think, an obvious symbol of fruitfulness, that they are fruitful when they are together. When they choose love, they are fruitful. And so but also just generally, and this is very important too, I think, in my opinion, in tarot, is just the general feel. Before you've looked at the card, before you've really investigated the pictures, the colors, the everything, just the general feel of the card. To me, this card it has the general feel of harmony and comfort and love. So I just love that one. The next one over is the Moonchild. It's from the Moonchild Tarot. And I absolutely love this card once again because it has a very minimal look to it, but there's a lot of content. So first off, most obviously, the two silhouettes. So we have the two people together as a united silhouette. They're not silhouetted separately, they're silhouetted together. They're choosing each other. They're embracing each other. And so you see a united pair. You see, the two becoming one. Another thing about this card is on the flowers on either side are sort of representing purity. So it represents the choice. There's white flowers on the left and on the right, and it represents purity and choice, the purity of their intentions. The pyramid in the background represents the ascent that is possible for them, the goals that are possible for them. It's basically literally golden possibilities lay open to them if they choose each other in this high vibrational way, in this loving way. They can ascend into the higher realms by choosing each other. And this, again, could mean two people choosing one another in this way, or within yourself, making sure that your internal energies are balanced and harmonious, and that you are choosing to become whole and not suppress one part of yourself. So it could be, the golden possibilities could be anything, really. The water, again, see, it's not a cluttered looking card, but so many energies. So the water often represents emotions. And so in this card, we have emotions, that they're standing in a pool of their emotions, but they're not being overwhelmed by them. They're not drowning in their emotions. They're just calmly, serenely in the pool of their own emotions. Water can also symbolize subconscious. So they are rising up out of their subconscious is the choice to be together, is the choice of harmony and the choice of love. So what a gorgeous card. The next one, the last one actually, is so interesting. I love this card. It's from the Legacy of the Divine Tarot. And again, we have something very, very visually. It's telling a visual story in a very obvious kind of way. So the first thing that I noticed about this card, and it's the reason I chose to include it, is the angel wings. And the angel wings are the lovers. The lovers are the wings. The left and the right wing are the two lovers. And so the only way that they could fly, the way these wings could actually fly and ascend is if they are in harmony with one another. They will sink. They will not fly if they are not in harmony with one another. They need to be in sync. They need to be together. And to be together and in sync and harmonizing with another person, or to harmonize with the yin-yang sides of yourself, it takes work. It takes effort. And so I think this is very clearly shown in the idea of the wings. The snake is below them. There's the apple and the snake, which represent temptation, which represent, passions, giving into your lower vibrational impulses, your passions, your addictions, all of that sort of thing. And above them is a golden heart, which symbolizes divine guidance and divine love. So it's very clear that if they are in harmony, if they can stay balanced, they can ascend to the golden possibilities of pure, unconditional love. And when they're not in harmony, they'll fall to the apple and the snake and possibly be tempted and all of that stuff. So this is a very clear card, I think. So how is the Lover's card relevant to your life? So I have three ways to share how this card can be relevant in your everyday life. And the first one is, how are you choosing to be in your relationships? Are your relationships balanced and healthy? So this is pretty obvious, because the Lover's card is all about choosing to see the best in one another, choosing to support one another, because you can't blame somebody for being human when you yourself are human. You know, maybe you don't have the same problems as someone else, but you have problems. We all have difficulties. We all have our weaknesses. And so to blame someone from their weaknesses with is sort of a hypocritical way to be. And so we have to support each other in our relationships. And that is true that some relationships are not healthy and you got to get out of those. So this is not a message to stay in all the relationships and you got to make it work. No, because it's up to both people to be doing that. To be choosing the best and choosing support and choosing love and choosing acceptance and making the healthy choices. It's up to both parties to be doing this. And so, but all you have control over is yourself. And so the Lover's card asks you, how are you being in your relationships? Are your relationships balanced and healthy? Are you choosing to show up in a way that supports the other person? Are you choosing to be a loving partner in this relationship? Now, answer that question just by itself, without thought of how are they showing up. First, ask yourself, how am I showing up? And then you can ask yourself, are they showing up? You know, how is the other person showing up? But the first part, and the most important, is how are you showing up in your relationships? And there are many relationships that you have no choice over, that you must show up in every single day. And so the more you can show up in a loving and supportive way, the better off that relationship will be. And the second way that the Lover's card is relevant to your real life is in regards to internal balance. So this is not an external relationship. This is the internal balance of yin and yang and feminine and masculine energies. Are your feminine and masculine energies supporting one another? Are you equally giving, love and attention to the part of you that is feeling and intuitive and soft, as to the other part of you that is strong and passionate and logical and structural? Those two masculine, feminine, yin-yang energies are within you and they need to be in balance. And are you choosing balance? Are you choosing to really be in balance? One of the people, I may have mentioned him before, I know this, I've listened to this guy occasionally. He talks about intuition and intuitive stuff. His name's Michael Jaco, and he just strikes me as one of the most balanced people I think I've ever seen. I don't know him personally, but he's like this big buff, like you look at him and you're like, okay, that's an emperor type. But you hear him speak and you hear that he has both energies going on. He is loving. He talks about love and intuition and feeling just as much as he talks about, standing up for what you to believe and masculine things like authority and leadership and logic. He has both of those energies going on when I hear him talk, and it's just very inspirational. And so I invite you to bring to mind somebody that you see in your life as being very balanced. And so take inspiration from that person, whoever it is. How are you balancing your internal energies? Are your internal energies supporting one another? And the third way that the Lover's card can be relevant in your everyday life is choice. Where are you choosing high vibrational energies or high vibrational choices? Where are you choosing the angel over the demons? Where are you choosing love over hate? Where are you choosing unity over fear? Where are you choosing forgiveness over divisiveness? And where are you not making those choices? So to become aware of those choices is the gift of the Lover's card, because the lower choices are always there. Like choosing to take the high road one day doesn't mean that you'll never be tempted to take the low road ever again. Every minute is another option for you, is another set of choices. And so every minute you have this choice to make. And the idea of the lovers, the Rider-Waite Smith puts this very beautifully into, let's show it. The Rider-Waite Smith puts this very beautifully, is the idea of the divine guidance, that there's this angel here, this angel who's ready to guide you, who's ready to lead you in the right direction, who's ready to point out gently to you the correct path or the best and the highest. And that angel won't abandon you. The angel will always be with you to take you, even if you make 1,000 bad choices, the angel's always going to be there to help you make the better choice. You know, that angel's never leaves it, never ever leaving you, because you are made of the stuff of God, and the angel is there to serve God. And so it's just so beautiful that we have this divine guidance with us all the time. So the third way that the Lover's card is relevant in your life is choice. How are you, where are you, what choices are you making? Are you honoring your divine guidance in your choices? Are you honoring yourself with your choices? Are you honoring other people with your choices? What choices are you making? So that is the Lover's card in a nutshell. Once again, I wish I could make these shorter, but there's just so much to say, and good for you if you made it this far. God bless you. So my prayer for you, I always end with a prayer. And so my prayer for you, for me, and for all of us is that we embody the love, the bliss, and the creative power of the Lover's card in our everyday life. Amen, amen, amen. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.